International Roller Skating League presents Banked Track Skating Competition from Kezar Pavilion in the heart of Golden Gate Park, San Francisco, California. Today, it's the San Francisco Bay Bombers versus the Brooklyn Red Devils. This game has been pre-recorded for syndication and showing at a more convenient time. Any use, retransmission, reproduction, or other description of this broadcast without the expressed written permission of the International Roller Skating League and or its associates is strictly prohibited. Announcers for this broadcast have been hired by the International Roller Skating League and are in no way affiliated with the station on which you are watching this program. Hello, I'm Don Drury. Along with me calling the play-by-play action will be Nick Skopas. Before we get into the game, though, Nick, let's take a look at some of the top skaters we'll be watching in competition today.
All right, Don, here we have Joe Chump. Now, this guy has been skating for a very, very long time. I don't want to say how many years and number his age, but the guy has been skating over 20 years. He's been with Monty for a long time, and as everybody knows, this guy, Monty, has been out on suspension. Joe is taking over the coaching chores of the Red Devils, and he's a fine blocker, jammer, all-around skater. I think he's going to do a fine job with this team. The other guy we have is Cal Stevens. Cal is got to be one of the greatest to come along in a long, long time. There he is, 240 pounds. He's about 6'3", one of the strongest blockers I've seen in the game in a long, long time. The guy can also jam for you. When he takes a jam, it's gangbusters. This guy comes around. There's not too many guys that can stop him. I think the only equal he has in the league is probably Charlie O'Connell. And we'll hear a lot from Cal and Joe and the rest of the Red Devils.
Well, he learned a lot from Charlie, Nick. He was 1969 Rookie of the Year in the International Roller Derby League. And of course, all of these skaters coming out of that league to form this league. But he was 69 Rookie of the Year in that league with the Bay Bombers and under Charlie O'Connell.
You know, it's really hard to think of him as only having 8 years in because the guy is so good.
Those are some of the top skaters you'll be watching in competition when we return, with the women already in competition here in the first skating period of this game from Kezar Pavilion, right after these commercial words. Don Drury, Nick Skopas, we're calling the action. We're in the first skating period of this game between the Bay Bombers and the Red Devils from Kezar Pavilion, with the Red Devils leading 6-1 over the Bay Bombers. We'll pick up the action and then we'll follow it a little bit more. Joan Weston back on defense for the Bay Bombers at the rear of the pack. It is Ann Cavello trying to get her jammer through, and that is Claudia Hobdy, who scored around the outside. 2 Red Devil points picked up on the play. So the Red Devils jump up to a 7-point lead, 8-1 over the Chiefs here in this game. Another tremendous crowd and a great turnout for the Bay Bombers here today, Nick.
They're really following it. The crowd's really following their team. They're backing the team. And you know, Don, I remember a few years ago, the crowds used to be, well, for me, because I was always on a visiting team, they were kind of a bad crowd to come into. But the people now, for some reason, following this team, is a super crowd. They're backing the team 100%. They're letting the team do their own work out there, and they're doing it for the people.
Nick, I want to point something out. You know, we were talking earlier that we have quite a few veterans out there. There's a great big reunion of all of the great roller derby stars coming up, and that is coming up the weekend of July 16th, and it will be held here in the San Francisco Bay Area this year. And that will be at Marriott's Inn in Berkeley, down in the Marina Harbor there.
That should be a good time for all the old-timers and some of the new-timers.
Jammer is out and moving on the play. Number 34, Dolores Tucker going out, along with Barbara Baker. Double block, and the skaters put down. That's Lana Kasanovic. So the Bombers now with a double scoring threat. Tucker and Baker on the move. It'll be Cal Vello back on defense at the rear for the Red Devils, and Jerry Abatello dropping back with her. Joan Weston dropping back on the assist for Tucker as Baker slows down the secondary jammer. Here comes Tucker making a sprint move out of the Red Devil turn, coming down the straightaway. Hit back with that double block. It holds up good. Calvello and Abatello. Weston makes a bid to the inside. The block does not take. Skater stop. Calvello leg blocking to Tucker. Forearm block into the head. Tucker staggered back again. Jammers trying to fight their way through. There's Weston back to lead the way. She drops back again. Drive to the inside. Block still doesn't take. Calvello just won't get out of the way. No score on the play. Good defensive work by Ann Calvello. Good defensive work on that play. As I was saying on that big reunion, Nick, some of these people that are coming up skated for many, many years with roller derby. Sid Harness, Russ Masro, Russ Rosie Baker, Annis Red Jensen, And there are some skaters that go back to the beginning days of roller derby in 1935. And I don't even know all of their names.
I don't know, but you know, this is about the only sport that does have a reunion like this, Don. They've had it for several years, and from talking to some of the skaters that have attended these things, it's really a super time that they have, and it's really nice to see these people who started the game and to see some of the people that are still in the game, you know, all together.
8-1, the Red Devils, a 7-point lead here in the first skating period. 3 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in this period. Red Devils have picked up a penalty, and that was delay of the game. So they will field 4. That gives the Bombers the advantage right now. Bombers get the first jammer out. Carol Peanuts-Meyer moving out along with Judy McGuire. And it's Jerry Abatello and Claudia Hobdy out there pulling the Red Devils. All 4 jammers out and moving on the play. Jammers coming up and out again. They'll be moving along at a good clip. Meyer blocked to the inside of Abatello. Abatello scrambling right back up there now. Good fast action. All 4 jammers tied up together as they make their way into scoring position at the rear of the pack. It'll be Ann Calvello on defense for the Red Devils. And for the Bay Bombers, I believe Sue Pergulia is back there. No, Joan Weston's starting to drop back now. She looks over her shoulder, sees the offensive skaters moving in. All 4 jammers tied up. Takedown, 4 of them going down. Bomber jammers are up first. McGuire and Meyer able to block. The Red Devil jammers in the dump. The pack being bunched up on the Bay Bombers. Weston back to lead the way. Here they come. McGuire and Meyer double block. Weston opening up. They're on the inside. They score. The official decision, there were 4 Bay Bomber points picked up on the play. 2 by Meyer, 2 by McGuire, the assist of Joan Weston. That cuts the lead down to 3 points. 8 for the Red Devils, 5 for the Bay Bombers.
It's so important, Don, that these pack skaters, the blockers in the pack and the pivot skater in the pack, watch what the jammers are doing. At that time, if you notice, you know, as soon as all 4 skaters went down, all the heads in the pack turned around. And when McGuire and Meyer got up, Weston grabbed the back of the pack, the 2 Bomber skaters up in front, locked up the front, Annie Bauer and Baker, and lifted the whole field there that they had 2 skaters in there, and they picked up a quick 4-pointer. But the whole team is working as a unit. It's all 5 skaters out there. They're working great.
1 minute, 8 seconds remaining here in the first period. Pack is being reorganized. Jammers at the rear, blockers in the middle, pivot skaters at the front of that pack. Pack form was the sounds. Jammers come up. Weston stops the Red Devil jammer from breaking loose. Bombers get the first jammer out. It's Barbara Baker. She reaches back, a whip. And Baker sending Joan Weston out. She's out with a rookie. And that's Wilma Ryan. A rookie picked up by the Red Devils. She was originally picked up by the Chiefs, then dropped. Red Devils saw, I think, a good future in this girl, and they picked her up now. She'll be playing with the Red Devils. Wilma Ryan moves in on a tough one to be out there with her. A great veteran. Tries to take the lead on a jam. Weston hits her back. She stays on her skates, though. Good endurance. Jammers coming up. 23 seconds left to go. Ann Bauer back on defense for the Bay Bombers now. And it's Joan Weston going with Calvello. Weston and Calvello. Weston trying to score most to the outside. Calvello trying to stay with her. Weston high and low most to the outside. Tucker up in front. Trying to confuse Bauer. Inside. Opens the door. Weston scoring. Weston takes a whip. Still on a move. Double block. Trying to find her way through. About 2 seconds remaining in the jam of the period. Time runs out, but the official decision, there was 1 Bay Bomber point scored by Joan Weston. So the score at the end of the first skating period, the Red Devils 8 and the Bay Bombers 6. We'll be right back with the men joining their action in the second period right after these commercial words. Don Drury, Nick Scopus, we're back calling the action. We're in the second skating period of this game, coming your way from Kezar Pavilion. The Bay Bombers, another tremendous crowd out here in support of this team. You can see them all the way up in the upper balcony there, Nick, all the way around the track. Just jam-packed in here. Bombers and the Red Devils. Red Devils lead by 2. 8-6 men now on the track for their first period against the Red Devils. For the men, rather. We're in the second period. Jammers out moving. 21, Larry Lee on the move. Followed out by number 35, Mike Gammett. Earl White coming out, or Pearson rather. Earl Pearson out for the Red Devils, and 32 Chris Rowe. Bomber jammers have dumped the Red Devil jammers. Bill Rowe comes out with a pivot helmet on, moves out to try and slow down the Red Devil jammers, brings them back into the pack. Now Gammon and Rowe moving to scoring contention. It'll be Cal Stevens back on defense for the Red Devils. He's quick and big. He can really move. Chris Rowe moves up. Hit back. Gammon comes in. He's cut off. He tries the inside. Roll back to the outside. Gammon makes a bid. Again to the inside. Again, he's checked back. Stevens all over the place. Tremendous blocking. Back there by a big, fast man. Roll trying to get back to help out. He's being kept forward by Tony Smith. Gammon again tries the inside. Again, cut off back there. Roll moves up. Stevens doing double duty blocking and doing the job well. Gammon hit back. He's done by Stevens. Now Rowe is the only one that can score. Chris Rowe coming out of that Red Devil turn, staggered back with a good shoulder block. Forearm block put down. Gammon, I believe, starting to make a move. Inside. And the official decision, there was one Bay Bomber point. One Bay Bomber point. And Stevens is hot. There's a penalty on Stevens down there. I don't know exactly what happened, but he's hot with Rowe, and Rowe is shaken up down on the track. You can see him, number 32.
Yes, indeed. It looked like Cal put some really good blocks in on him, and he just couldn't catch him at the wrong time. You know, Chris was planted down there pretty good. Cal's really hot. It feels like the new kid on the block just kind of stood up to him a little bit now.
There was a 1-minute penalty on Cal Stevens. Unnecessary roughness after the play. And I don't see it up on the scoreboard, Nick, but I thought these officials signaled 1 point for Gammon.
I thought they did too.
Yeah, there it is.
There
It just went up. 8-7, Red Devils on top by 1. And they'll be shorthanded now with Stevens in the penalty box.
One thing about this Red Devil team, though, Don, is they got some big men out there with Joe Chump, Tony Smith, and Cal Stevens. So it's not going to hurt them to lose that one man for 1 minute, I don't think.
Gammers out moving. It's Mike Phillips on the play for the Red Devils. Tony Roman quickly coming out after the Red Devil jammer. Mike Phillips. Roman goes to the inside. Elbow block. Takes the lead on the jam. 1-1. Phillips coming back. Shoulder block. Roman stays right in there. Roman, a very agile skater. Very quick. We've talked with him in the past, and he just seems to get better as the years go on. It'll be Tony Smith on defense for the Red Devils. Bill Grohl, Vince captain of the Bay Bombers, on defense back there as well. Roman makes the first move. Coming up on Tony Smith, hit back. Grohl going to work on Phillips. Phillips comes to the outside as a shoulder block. He's checked up to the rail. Roman trying to find his way through. Roman belted back by Tony Smith. Here comes Grohl trying to whip Roman up. They move to the outside. Reverse whip inside. He scores, calls it off. One more Bay Bomber point. One more Bay Bomber point, Nick. That ties the score 8-8.
I think we have a replay on that, Don. A very, very good play. Executed very well by Bill Grohl and Tony. It should be coming up right now. Here they come right in at the rear. Grohl knocking the Red Devil jammer high. He's going to come up here for the assist with Tony Roman. Grabs and whips him up, spins him back around to the inside, knocks Tony Smith high, and he still picks up that other jammer. Just a great play by the Bombers.
We're back with the action as it is happening here, live in the building. Again, we remind you this game is pre-recorded. Nick, what you just saw there is different from the inside spin whip. And they call that a reverse whip. A lot of fans along the network don't know that, but the reverse whip is where they whip the man up and whip him down behind his back, as opposed to the jammer being whipped forward and then the blocker spinning to the inside and taking the man out into the rail. Jammer's out, moving on the play. It is Larry Lee on the move for the Red Devils. Dynamite Mike Gammon flying off the whip, coming up after Lee. They're on the move. Gammon comes up, jump block, takes him out. They're both back up and scrambling. Look at this Lee, got the jump on Gammon there. Gammon coming out side by side. Lee back into the block now. Lee coming to the inside. Gammon sidesteps. It'll be Tony Smith back to the block at the rear of the pack for the Red Devils. Smith coming up, high elbow block. Gammon squats low inside. Skater's taken out. Jam called off, but there was a bomber going down as well, and I couldn't quite see what it was. There's 1 point each way. There's Tony Smith. He was dumped. He went down with Tony. It was Tony Roman who took him out as well as Mike Gammon. But Lee scored over Tony Roman as well, so the score increases, but it remains tied, 9-9. 6 minutes, 45 seconds remaining here in the second skating period of this game from Kezar Pavilion. I'm Don Drury along with Nick Scobus, and a timeout being called on the track. Timeout being called. Don Drury, Nick Scobus, back calling the action. We're in the second skating period. Bay Bombers and the Red Devils tied, 9-9. Cal Stevens going out with Bill Grohl. Grohl with the pivot out. Look at this big Stevens drive back to the inside. There's a block. Grohl hit back. He stays in there. Coming out of the turn. Size. Oh, Grohl rolling into that rail. He's shaking up. He hit it hard as he missed that block trying, and he had to put everything into it. Stevens is just too big, Nick.
He is. He's big. He's agile. He's very strong. He's fast. He's everything.
Cal Stevens now moving into scoring position. It'll be Gillarosco back to do the blocking. No, Grohl will drop back on defense for the Bay Bombers. Tony Smith dropping back on the assist for Cal Stevens. A double block being formed. Tony Smith back to lead the way. The jammer makes his way. A lot of weight, a lot of speed. Stevens right to the middle of that double block. Butler picked off. And the official decision, there were two Red Devil points picked up over the Bay Bombers on that play. Cal Stevens scoring. Tremendous effort back there by Tony Smith.
It's Tony Smith and Cal Stevens get together like that. It's an awfully hard combination to stop. Like when they're coming in as fast as they were, and to give Cal a whip. I don't think there's a double block in the league that's going to stop him unless O'Connell is out there with somebody as big as him, or maybe with Bill Grohl. And Charlie's been off the track. So far this men's period, he may be coming back. He sustained an injury, and I think he's trying to cool it a little bit if he can. The team is still looking good without him so far. The team is strong, but these guys, I'm afraid this Red Devil team can wear them down as big as they are, Don. It's a big team, it's a fast team. It's a good all-around team. It's one of the best I've seen.
11-9, Red Devils break the tie. They go into the lead by 2. 4 minutes, 19 seconds remaining here in the first period for the men. Actually, the second skating period of the game. We remind the fans along the network, if you're watching the first half this week, you'll be seeing the second half next week. Be sure and tune in weekly. And also, if you're watching this game in black and white, the Red Devils, I'll pick up the action and come back to that right now. Chris Rowe has just dumped. The Red Devil jammer is now moving into scoring position. It'll be Larry Lee back on defense at the rear. Block to the inside. Butler trying to move lead out of the way. Rowe comes back up again for the Bay Bombers and attempting to score. Hit back, slowed down. Lee, 21, on defense at the rear. Here comes the Red Devil jammer, Ed Hessen. He takes the lead on the jam. He'll be facing Cliff Butler now. Leg block back by Butler. Hessen staggered back as he attempts to score. Again, coming out of the turn down the stretch. Another leg block thrown back by Butler. Another leg block thrown back by Butler. Good blocking going on at the rear. Both jammers being stopped by the defensive pin at the rear. Good shoulder block thrown back by Lee. Butler set and stops Hessen to the outside. Rowe comes back. Smith spinning around. There's a leg block thrown in. The jam is over, but skaters pile up.
Gammon was the one slammed on the brakes, came back and nailed Hessen. He got a fine shot, good block, and it was good coordination between the blocker and one of his teammates up in the pack. The team has to work like that.
No score on the play, no score. As I was saying, if you're watching in black and white, the Red Devils have the stripes down the sleeves. Of course, they have their names on the front, and the Bombers are wearing the 30 series. They also have the stripes on the arms, but they go around the arm. They do not run up and down. If you're watching in color, the Red Devils, of course, in the red, and the Bombers in their familiar brown and orange. 2 minutes, 33 seconds remaining here in the second skating period. There was a correction. There was 1 point picked up on that play. I didn't see where it was, Nick, but the official ruling that, so that's cut the Red Devil lead to 1 point. Red Devils 11, Bay Bombers 10. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to go in the second period. Pack reorganized once again. Mike Phillips going out for the Red Devils. Tony Roman flying out of that pack for the Bay Bombers. Roman moving along. Easy strides, opening up that lead. And they're signaling to Roman. It'll be Stevens back on defense at the rear. Gillarosco back to lead away. They're making their move on the rear. Here comes 39, Gillarosco. He's reaching back for Roman. He isn't it? Roman goes inside. And the official ruling, Nick, there was a holding penalty on Gillarosco. No score. No score. We'll get a chance to look at this again. I think it's going to be shown on the instant replay. I didn't see it.
It should be coming up right now. Here it comes. Now watch Gillarosco, Tony Roman coming around. He signals Orozco. Orozco starts to take off for Stevens now. Now Gill is going to take Stevens up and fake whip, and he reaches out and he grabs his hand.
You could see it right there. He grabbed him just as they went into that turn, and he got caught.
And he got nailed. The referees are right on him. These referees, Canella and Morrissey, are just doing a fine job out here. They're controlling the game, making good calls all the way around.
We're back live as the action is happening. Again, we remind you this game is pre-recorded. 11-10. Red Devils continue to lead by 1, and the Bay Bombers are now shorthanded with Gillarosco in the penalty box. Red Devils have the lead jammer out, but he's out number 2-1. Now Rowe reaches back a whip, and Bill Grohl takes on the chase. Grohl comes up. Shoulder block takes over the lead on that jam. Opens up a sizable lead. Lee taking those long strides, trying to close the gap right back up. Lee comes in, blocked from the outside. Grohl puts it down. It'll be Cal Stevens, Tony Smith, and they're forming a double block to Bill Grohl. Gammon breaking lead, but he's going after Lee. Grohl is the one that can score. Tries to dive his way to the middle of a double block. It holds. Grohl stop. Lee coming up. He's hit back by Gammon. Put into the rail. Now the Bombers with a double scoring threat on the move. There's that double block in the rear. Here comes Grohl. Grohl coming up. Gammon squats low underneath. They tie up Grohl, but Gammon gets through. And the jam called off. The official ruling, Grohl got by for 1. Gammon went low for 2. There were three Bay Bomber points scored on the play.
Super play.
So the score at the end of the second skating period, the Bay Bombers 13 and the Red Devils 11. Don Drury, Nick Scopus calling the action. We're joining the women now in the third skating period of this game from Kezar Pavilion between the Red Devils and the Bombers. The Bombers just came from behind by 3 points to take the lead 13-11 over the Red Devils. Nick, although the women are on the track, let's go back and take a look at that closing jam of the period. We're going to watch this on instant replay.
Okay, Don, it should be coming up right here. Here's Billy Grohl up on top of that double block. Gammon going underneath the bottom of it, and the double block split, and he picked up an extra point. It was a 3-point play right there.
We're back live. Again, we remind you this game is pre-recorded. Women are out moving on the jam. Wilma Ryan on the move for the Red Devils. For the Bay Bombers, 36, Sue Fraguglia out moving. Each team one potential scorer out moving on the play. Fraguglia comes up, elbow block to the inside, takes the lead on the jam over Ryan. Ryan, a rookie. This is her first season with the International Roller Skating League. And it's, I don't have too much background on her. I understand that she was in training school with the Roller Derby League. Jammers move into scoring position. Calvello going to work on Fraguglia. Leg blocks, elbow blocks. Fraguglia dumped in the rear by Ann Calvello. Now she tries to move Carol Peanuts Meyer out of the way. Ryan going to the inside. Picks up one and no.
I think it was a holding penalty on Calvello.
Meyer taken down by Calvello. I don't know, Nick, if there was a holding penalty on Calvello or if the rookie just cut the jam off too soon. I know she was anxious to get by.
It looked as though the referees called the holding penalty. I'm not certain, Don. I know she was anxious to pick up that point. She was really hustling for it, trying to get through the inside. But it appeared as though Calvello had come up from the back and grabbed.
Now McGuire and Calvello, a few words down that turn. Weston up to Calvello. Calvello dumped. And she's upset.
Well, I don't know what you can argue about. She's the one that put Meyer where she was.
I think she was arguing with Judy McGuire and just backed up. Phoenix had squatted low right behind her. And there Weston giving a little helping hand, trying to get her up on her skates. And the official came over, and so she decided to drop the situation.
Yeah, you could get called for holding like that again. You know, no, you don't want to pick up an unnecessary penalty.
Back being reorganized. They'll be short Calvello. There was a penalty, and that's what nullified the point. So the score remains 13-11. Bay Bombers on top by 2 here in the third skating period. 9 minutes, 5 seconds left to go. Jammers trying to fight their way out. Red Devils having a tough time getting the Jammers out. And the Bay Bombers release number 35, Judy McGuire. Red Devils get a jammer out. It's Lana Kasanovic, number 28. 1-1 on the move. Another block coming back. An elbow block thrown. Jammers trying to work their way up and out and around. Secondary jammer Claudia Hobby going out. Now McGuire has been dumped, and the Red Devils have a double scoring threat. They have the only 2 jammers out moving on the play, and that's very unusual, Nick, because they only have 4 skaters on the track. Now Tucker breaks leg, long way back. McGuire coming on again. Weston coming out, but they've got 2 Bay Bombers locked in the pack, and those skaters are Ann Bauer and Carol Meyer. They're both being hit back there. Now they're starting to break loose, and they're putting the pressure on the Red Devils. Those jammers still trying to work their way up. Red Devils getting in control again of that pack, locking them in. Hobby moves in, tries to score. Kasanovic comes up. Bauer, Meyer, double block at the rear. Calvello spinning around, trying to pull her jammers through. Comes back inside. One of them has gotten through. Jam called off. The official ruling, there were 4 Red Devil points scored. Abdi picking up 2. Kasanovich scoring 2. The assist of Ann Calvello and the rest of the Red Devils. 15-13. Red Devils go back on top.
Well, it looked like the Bomber team was going to go into a pull away. Calvello at that same time had just come out of the penalty box and got right in the way of the last 2 skaters getting out of the pack for the Bombers to slow them up enough. Abatello coming up through the inside, picked them up and took them high. Calvello pulled their jammers through. They picked up 4 points.
Nick, you notice the difference between the Red Devil strategy and the Chiefs strategy in the women's field. And the Chiefs always break their jammers out on top.
Oh, yeah. The Chiefs are a team that hogs the top of the track. They won't let anybody get up there. And if somebody gets up there, they drive them down into the infield. The Red Devils, on the other hand, I think maybe because the Red Devils are a little bit bigger team, they have a bigger stature than the Chiefs do. They can get in there and they like to block around a little bit before they shake their jammer out, maybe just to wear down the opposing team. And it does take its toll after a number of periods.
15-13. Red Devils on top by 2 points. 6 minutes, 48 seconds remaining here in the 3rd period. Bombers reorganizing that pack. They're down by 2. They'll try and get their jammers out on top again. Jammers being signaled to the rear. For the Bombers, it'll be 32. Barbara Baker, 36. Sue Pergulia. For the Red Devils, it'll be Wilma Ryan and Dolores Holmes. She's an up-and-coming rookie. 2 rookies will be jamming for the Red Devils at the same time. I don't know if that's a good move, but we'll see what happens. Jammers out, moving on to play. Ryan gets out first this time. And Barbara Baker moves up to the inside. An elbow block. Takes the lead on the jam. Sidestep as Holmes goes for the lead. And Baker maintains possession of that lead. Pergulia slowing down Wilma Ryan. She'll be riding her back into the pack as the lead jammers extend their distance over the secondary jammers and move into scoring position. It'll be Calvello and Joan Weston back on defense at the rear. Jammer coming up. Calvello and elbow block. Kasanovich drops back to do the blocking for the Red Devils now against Barbara Baker. That'll give Calvello a little bit of a rest. Holmes makes a bid over Joan Weston. The block does not take. Coming up around the outside. Again, Holmes comes in, an elbow block to Baker, then moves up, and Kasanovich was put into the rail by Weston trying to help Holmes up there. Baker went through. There was 1 Bay Bomber point and a timeout being called here in the 3rd period with the Red Devils leading 15-14 over the Bay Bombers. Don Drury, Nick Gomez back calling the action before a capacity crowd here at Kezar Pavilion. Just tremendous Bomber support. And Nick, I think that's exactly what the Bombers are going to see when they make their first national road trip in over 5 years. All of these greats moving out again to see the fans across the country.
And I'm sure the fans across the country will be glad to see all these great skaters that the Bombers have too.
Double block out there. Red Devils have 2 jammers out moving. Jackie Garillo and number 24, Jerry Abatello. 35, Judy McGuire for the Bay Bombers is out, but she's out number 2-1 and caught behind. She gets by Abatello. She'll be going for the lead. Moving up on Garillo, and Abatello is in pursuit. Garillo looks over her shoulder, sees McGuire moving up. There's a sidestep. Garillo runs into Abatello. The jam called off. Heads up play by Judy McGuire. Heads up play by Judy McGuire as the Bombers are down by 1. She was out number 2-1. Took the lead on the jam and called the play off. No score.
Looks like Abatello's giving her what for there too. You know, she kind of bumped her up into the rail after the jam was over.
We'll go back and take a look at this one again as well, Nick. I think there was also a 1-minute penalty on Judy McGuire blocking after the jam. Here we go.
Here comes McGuire. She's out number 2-1. She sidesteps Abatello in the back there. She's coming up, working very hard. Now the thing is, she's coming up to Garillo. Deeks her to the outside, sidesteps her, cuts it off, and gains the advantage on a jam, so that there's no score by the Red Devils.
Again, the leading jammer must have has the option of cutting that jam off by placing his or her hands on their hips. Bombers trail by 1, and you can hear the crowd in the background starting to get behind the Bay Bombers. They want to score. Bombers have had a tough time scoring now. Jammers trying to work their way up and out of the pack. Number 21, our rookie, Dolores Holmes, coming out, whipped out by Jackie Garillo. Sue Pergulia coming out for the Bay Bombers. Wilma Ryan on the move, and 32, Barbara Baker. All 4 jammers. There's your lead potential scorer, 21, Dolores Holmes. Pergulia in pursuit for the Bay Bombers. 1-1 now as the secondary jammers have been taken back into the pack. It'll be Calvello and Weston. Again, back on defense at the rear. Offensive jammers make their way into scoring position at the rear of the pack. Calvello back with a block for Goulia, taken down. Calvello moving up on Weston, trying to get her out of the way. Forearm block. Weston taken high. The jam called off. Red Devils picking them up one at a time, but they've increased their lead again. 16-14 now over the Bay Bombers here in the third period. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go, and the Bombers will go back to full strength.
The team is looking good. Calvello's blocking very, very strong. She's keeping her head, not getting wound up in the penalty box. And I think that's where it's at with this team. As long as they stay out of that penalty box, it's an almost even match with the Bombers, player for player. The girls' teams are great. The boys' teams are very, very strong. And the thing for the Red Devils to do now, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, they just have to stay out of the penalty box.
1 minute, 45 seconds remaining here in the third skating period. This game again coming your way from Kezar Pavilion. I'm Don Drury, along with me Nick Scobus. We're calling your play-by-play action. Nick, I tell you, when we go to tour, I'm looking forward to seeing towns again like Springfield, Massachusetts, Memphis, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, Gary, Indiana. Just so many great ones along the network. Jammers out. It's Jerry Abatello for the Red Devils. Joan Weston coming out for the Bay Bombers with the pivot helmet on. Calvello coming up there now, and Weston is out number 2 to 1. Calvello coming out, moves up in front of Weston. She'll try and slow her down, and she leaves Abatello to move up. Weston backs off, now takes out by Calvello. Comes up after Abatello again. Abatello hit back. Here comes Weston. Weston moves up in front. She's out number 2 to 1, but she's not calling it off. She slows down. Abatello hits her back right into Calvello. They go into the rail. Weston can't score. Inside power play. The official decision, there were 3 Bay Bomber points scored by Joan Weston.
I don't know if we got all of this on a replay, but yeah, we do have some of it on a replay. Now here's Weston. She just stands up as though she's out of the play altogether. Takes off again on Calvello. When Calvello straightened up, comes flying up, knocks, she didn't even bother blocking Abatello. Shot to the inside, grabbed her here, shot her right back into Calvello. And then the Bomber team went into a lift right here in the corner. And all Joni had to do was walk through and pick up a quick 3 points.
And she did. We're back live now. Again, we remind you this game is pre-recorded. 12 seconds left to go here in the third period. The Bay Bombers have taken the lead. They lead by 1, 17-16 over the Red Devils. Men standing by as this period time runs out. So the score at the end of the third period, the Bay Bombers 17 and the Red Devils 16. We'll be back with the men going into the fourth skating period, final period of this game, in the first half of this game, as soon as we return after these commercial words. Jammers coming up. A little shot of a lion down there. I think that was Ann Cavello's purse. You know, she's a Leo, and she wants everyone to know it. Men are on the track now. Fourth skating period. Final period of the first half of this game. Tony Roman flying out of the pack off a whip, and Larry Lee is in pursuit. Look at this man take long strides, trying to catch up with a very fast Tony Roman. He's caught him, too. 1-1 on the move. Elbow block. Back by Lee. Sets him up. Shoulder block. Roman taken down. Roman dumped, and Lee is on the move. Roman is back up and moving. He's a long way back. Lee's the one who can score. He's got Tony Smith back there to lead the way. Gonna be 36. Cliff Butler back to do the blocking. Drive inside. Skater hit. Put down. Cliff Butler. They're trying to move Orozco out of the way now. Bomber jammer Roman coming up. Smith drops back. Shoulder block. Roman checked into the rail. And again, Smith moves up. Tries to get the skater out of the way. Jam called off. Jam called off. Skater's going over the rail just as the play ended. And I believe there was 1 Red Devil point scored on the play. Larry Lee cut it off as he quickly saw Tony Roman coming up again. So that ties it 17-all.
You know, I thought really made a fine play on that was Orozco. He picked up the jammer after he had picked up that point. Now, there's a possibility of that jammer going through with Tony Smith leading him through. And Orozco just tucked himself up underneath that jammer. Nobody could move him. Smith took 2 stabs at him and couldn't get a solid shot on him. And when those guys went over the rail, Butler came up and nailed everybody that was there. He hit Orozco and Lee. And by the way, this Lee is skating a good game, by the way, Don.
Yes, he is. Nick, I point out, O'Connell has not been in the lineup thus far. He was injured earlier in a G series, and he's not skating right now. I presume that he'll probably try and get into that game, but he's been shaken up quite a bit.
I think the doctor said to just try and cool it unless it was absolutely necessary for him to go ahead and get out there.
Jammer's coming up and out. 35, Mike Gammon flying out of that pack. Cal Stevens coming out after him. Good shoulder block as he catches Gammon and puts him down. Red Devils now the only potential scorer out moving on the play. That's their men's captain, number 27, Cal Stevens. Cal Stevens rolling all by himself. About 6'2", 6'3", goes in right around 235, 240 pounds. It'll be Bill Grohl, Cliff Butler, double block at the rear of the pack. They'll be trying to stop this man, and they've got their work cut out for them. Stevens coming up out of the bomber turn, down the straightaway, good, double block stops him, elbows jar into the chest. Stevens backing off again. If he can get a little bit more speed up, he'll have the advantage. Gammon breaking late, he's a long ways back. Grohl and Butler dropping way back. Stevens looking to make the right move, has yet to do it. Now the jammer is Cal Stevens still trying to go. Here comes Gammon. Ooh, shot block. And Stevens nailed, gets right back up after really being caught by Gammon. And we've got him going. He went after, and Butler comes up there now. Butler, Stevens nailing everyone.
He's taking on that whole team.
O'Connell's
off the bench and he's out on the track.
O'Connell and Stevens. Oh, O'Connell and Stevens squaring off. Gammon shaken up. He was really belted. We're gonna go back and look at this again. You can see Gammon came from way down the other end of the track.
I was going to tell you, they got that double block. Here comes Gammon, a great block. He threw himself at him and just nailed him square across the chest. There was nothing Cal could do but go down. I'm surprised he got up. He jumped up right away and nailed Mike. He was really hot.
I don't know how he did it. Well, they're trying to get everybody back up. Everybody, this Stevens is taking nothing from no one. He is mean.
Boy, I'm telling you, I think this guy chews nails for breakfast.
There was a penalty on Mike Gammon, though. He backtracked. He went in the wrong direction to throw that block, so Stevens should have picked up a point. He did. There was also a penalty on Stevens, slugging.
Well, he must have thought a house fell on him when Gammon hit him.
That's got to take the wind right out of you. When it nails you right in the chest, how do you breathe?
I can feel it up here.
18-17. The Red Devils lead by one. They've broken the tie. 7 minutes, 10 seconds left to go here in the fourth skating period. Again, we remind you, along the network, you'll be seeing the second half of this game next week. The pack being reorganized. Bombers will field 4 skaters. I don't even see Gammon. Where is Gammon?
He's down in the infield.
He's shaking up. That's why he's not in the penalty box, huh?
Yeah.
Jammer's out. It's Tony Roman for the Bay Bombers, and the Red Devils breaking out Larry Lee. He's really improving. He's learning, instead of to take those short steps like a small man like Roman, to stretch out. He gets all of that momentum going with him. He moves up on Roman. Roman, key block. Lee sent flying into the rail by Tony Roman.
That's your experience.
Go to make that move in the wrong place and you're off guard. It's Gillarosco back to lead the way. Roman is the one who can score. Number 37. A whip to the outside. Roman caught by Lee. Orozco coming up with a drive. Hits him, catches him. Off guard, moves him out. Now Orozco again back to lead the way for Roman. Trying to get him around Tony Smith. Low! He scores! Whoa. He scores! And Lee and Roman squaring off. I don't think they really connected too well there. You could see them slipping as they were up in that turn. And they're very close in there now.
I'm going to tell you something.
It's broken up.
Lee's got a lot of guts going after Roman. Tony's got to be one of the strongest small men I've ever seen in my life. But did you notice the way Lee was blocking?
There were 3 Bay Bomber points scored by Tony Roman. And a timeout being called with the score. The Bay Bombers 20 and the Red Devils 18. Nick Scobus, Don Drury, we're back calling the action. We're in the fourth period, and now coming into the lineup for the Bay Bombers is number 40, Charlie O'Connell. Bombers have the jammers out and moving. 32, Chris Rowe. 36, Cliff Butler. For the Red Devils, it is 28, Larry Lee, and Butler, jump block. Whoa! He took out 2 of the Red Devils with that flying jump block. Butler shaken up. He's down in the turn, replaced by Gammon. They're really getting carried away out there, I'll tell you. Both teams are shorthanded. There were penalties on Lee and Roman fighting. And Cal Stevens back on defense for the Red Devils. At the rear of the pack, Rowe is trying to score. Rowe at the rear. Stevens is the one doing the blocking. There he is. Back. Tony Smith comes in with a block. O'Connell trying to get back to help out. He's being kept forward by Tony Smith. Prevented from dropping back on the assist. Rowe makes another attempt. It'll be Smith back this time. Smith back there. Elbow block stops him. And they've got O'Connell pinned in as well. O'Connell trying to get back there, but Stevens and Smith. Here comes Gammon. Gammon moving. Ooh. He tries to bust the skaters through, but time runs out. No score. Stevens going after O'Connell. And they're jumping in. O'Connell has been hurt before, Nick. And it was remarkable that he could get into that game. The Bombers just don't want to let Stevens get a hold. Ooh, Grohl coming up now. Skaters all over the place. And Grohl is hot. Oh, they're having a tough time. Helmets off, Grohl and Stevens.
This Red Devil team.
O'Connell still shaken up. O'Connell is shaken up in that turn.
They know that that Charlie had been injured in the last series. They know the doctors told him to take it easy, and he's been trying to, and he wants to give these guys a little breather, and he comes up on the track. First thing they do is pile up on him.
There's the entire Bay Bomber men's field around Charlie O'Connell. He's still shaking. There he is, number 40. He's back on his skates, but he is shaken up. No score on the play, and there will be penalties called. I'm not sure exactly who it is.
O'Connell moving off the rail now. He seems to be all right. I'll say one thing though, Don. If there is a weak link out on the track, I would say go after. But if the guy is hurt, I say, just move him up, pick up your points, and leave him alone. If the guy's, don't take advantage of him like the team is taking advantage of him now.
You did.
They're trying to hurt him.
Well, when you were skating, you did.
Well, it was different. He used to chase me then, No, we never went out to hurt anyone. We were trying to move him out of the way, get him high. Just try and make him sit down again.
20-18. Bay Bombers lead by 2 over the Red Devils. 1 minute, 55 seconds remaining here in the first half. Jam started by 23. Mike Phillips, then a whip, and Tony Smith goes out. O'Connell trying to break out of the pack is taken back in by Joe Chump. They're trying to get Gammon out now. Gammon moves around the outside, but 26 is Smith. He's the one to lead Jammer. Here comes Gammon in for a suit. Gammon moving after Smith, quickly gaining on him. Smith looking back over his shoulder. Gammon going for the lead on the James shoulder block. Again, that size. Smith drive to the inside. He's still fighting for points, and they've got Jam called off. The Jam called off. They're tied up down there in the turn. And again, it's O'Connell who's been pinned in. The Jam is over. Jam is over. Whoa. I really wouldn't want to be out there right now.
I know, yeah.
This team is just too big.
They are. It's a big team. It's a fast team. I've been saying this every time they've skated. Just a strong team. It's one of the strongest teams I've seen.
There were 2 Red Devil points scored by Tony Smith. And 1 minute penalty, I believe they're calling it O'Connell. Holding.
There was a holding penalty. I don't know if they have a...
There's correction. There are 3 Red Devil points. 2 on the pass, 1 on the penalty of O'Connell for holding.
That's what I was wondering, if they had the additional point for the penalty.
They did. Remember, if this jam starts, it'll run the full 60 seconds. There are only 30 seconds remaining on the clock here in the first half. Remind the fans again along the network. Be sure and stay tuned next week. Tune in next week and catch the second half of this exciting game between the Red Devils and the Bay Bombers from Kezar Pavilion. 18 seconds. If they get the jam going, it'll run the full 60 seconds. That happens the last jam of each half. If started with less than 60 seconds, it runs the full 60 seconds, regardless of the time on the clock. They're really going to have to move to do it, though. There are only 5 seconds up to go. Jammers trying to work their way up, and time starts to run out. 2, 1. It's over. No jam, no score. So the score at the end of the first skating half from Kezar Pavilion. The Red Devils 21 and the Bay Bombers 20. Be sure and stay tuned for an interview. We'll be talking with one of the top stars after these commercial words. Hello, I'm Don Drury, speaking to you from Kezar Pavilion. It's halftime here, and I'm talking with the men's captain of the Brooklyn Red Devils, Cal Stevens. With a score at halftime, 21 for the Red Devils, 20 for the Bay Bombers. Calvin, your team is greatly improved, and a lot of it, I would have to say, has got to do with you. 230 pounds, 235 pounds?
Right, 235, 6'1". Yeah, We have come a long way. Tony Smith is coming his own. I'm coming into my own. We have Larry Lee. Just a great team, I think. We have a great chance against the Bombers here. It's pretty rough, though.
Is that a big man on your team? Mintz, the coach out there.
Yeah, Joe Chump, with his knowledge and with what he's teaching me, helping me out, he's teaching me how to calm down a little bit more and concentrate more on my defense, which is excellent. I think it's going to help the whole team out.
Well, speaking about calming down, it didn't look like you were too calm out there here in the first half of this game anyway. I don't know if that's part of the game plan for the second game or exactly what's going on. I saw one shot where Gammon came back just tremendously, and he must have hit you moving a good 20, 30 miles an hour, but we got that one on instant replay. The fans got to see that twice, and I didn't know how you got up. It looked like you lost your temper as well.
Well, yeah, that was an excellent play by Gammon. He really faked me out. I didn't expect he would do it, but since he caught me on my chest with his behind part, it didn't hurt me too much. It shocked me, but it made me awfully mad. I got awfully mad. He has a way of enticing me out there sometimes. He knows it, too.
To try to get you off your game, him and O'Connell both. He was awfully rough.
No, Connell, he's all right. I can't take anything away from him. He's still doing pretty good for, he has a lot to work with. He's still a lot of competition out there, but I think we're going to try to make it so this is Charlie's last year.
It looks like you're trying to end it maybe even a little bit sooner than that.
Well, you have to do that with Charlie. Either you get him first or he gets you first, and I'm going to get him first this time.
It looks like you're certainly doing that. I know this team that's out here, Calvin, is a very, very strong team, and I would say going into playoff competition, you're really going to be in a great situation. Your jammers are improving, and it just seems like it's probably the biggest Red Devil team I've seen in almost 10 years.
I think it is. I was on the Red Devils once before a couple of years ago, and it wasn't this big. I think by the time the playoffs do get here, and we've skated with each other a little bit more, and we know each other, how we skate, I think we can't help but win the playoffs. Can't help but win.
You're looking for a championship this year, then?
We're going to try. We're really going to try. I'm looking for it. Matter of fact, I want that trophy.
You're going to take it home yourself?
I want it myself, right. Charlie's got enough of them.
Well, Calvin, I know you're tired. I know you've got a second half to go, so I want to let you go. Again, I want to thank you for talking with us. For Nick Scobas, myself, I'm Don Drury, the International Roller Skating League, and the hosting Bay Bombers from Kezar Pavilion at halftime. The Red Devils 21, the Bay Bombers 20. Thank you for joining us. The International Roller Skating League presents Banked Track Skating Competition from Kezar Pavilion in the heart of Golden Gate Park, San Francisco, California. Today, it's the San Francisco Bay Bombers versus the Brooklyn Red Devils. This game has been pre-recorded for syndication and showing at a more convenient time. Any use, retransmission, reproduction, or other description of this broadcast without the expressed written permission of the International Roller Skating League and or its associates is strictly prohibited. The announcers for this broadcast have been hired by the International Roller Skating League and are in no way affiliated with the station on which you are watching this program. Hello, I'm Don Drury. Along with me, Nick Scobas. We'll be calling your play-by-play action and, of course, all of the instant replay action that will be coming up in today's game. We're in the second half of this game here at Kezar Pavilion. Before we pick up the action, though, Nick, let's take a look at some of the top stars we'll be watching in competition today.
Well, the one guy sitting there on the left side with the towel over his shoulders, Billy Grohl, a 10-year veteran. He's been a coach. He's had his own teams. He's had a great load fall on him. Now the Bombers have had a couple of injuries in this game. O'Connell's been hurt. Cliff Butler was hurt. And the guy's going to have to take over this team. Number 37, Tony Roman, sitting next to him, one of the fastest jammers in the league. Just coming off a great series against the Chiefs. He's been going gangbusters. He's been scoring well. He's been assisting well. He's been blocking well. And the team really, really looks good as a complete unit now. If they get these injuries out of the way, they're going to be awfully tough again.
Probably two of the strongest skaters to come along in a long time. Bill Grohl, of course, was coach of the Chiefs and came over to the Bay Bombers this season as O'Connell asked him.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job taking over in front of the pack and giving Charlie a rest, too.
So those are some of the top stars we'll be watching when we return, joining the women in the fifth skating period of this game from Kezar Pavilion. We'll be back with that action right after these commercial words. Don Drury, Nick Scobis back calling the action. We're in the 5th skating period of this game from Kezar Pavilion. The score, the Red Devils 27, the Bay Bombers 20, a full 7-point lead. Skaters moving up. Bay Bombers with a double scoring threat out there. They have Sue Fraguglia and Carol Meyer trying to fight their way through. That's Peanuts Meyer. There's a double block by Calvello and Kasanovich at the rear. They stop both of the Bomber Jammers from scoring right now. Joan Weston drops back on the assist. Weston weaving in and out, crisscrossing. Calvello and Kasanovich now trying to do the same thing. Mass confusion at the rear of the pack. Weston drive inside, opens the door. Bomber Jammers fighting for more points. And jam time runs out. The official decision, there were 4 Bay Bomber points scored. 2 by Fraguglia, 2 by Meyer.
That was a good call by Weston to tell him to start crisscrossing at the rear. The only bad decision made there, I think, was by the 2 blockers. Kasanovich and Calvello trying to crisscross with those jammers. They should just hold their position there and just try to keep them back. And of course, waiting for Weston to come on through. There's Annie talking. I think she's telling Myers a little bit that she's as old as she is and she looks a lot better than she does.
Back being reorganized. Red Devils continue to lead by 3. 27 over 24 over the Bay Bombers. 4 minutes 55 seconds remaining here in the 5th period. Back is formed, the whistle sounds, and again it's going to be the Bay Bombers to get that jammer up and out. 34, Dolores Tucker coming off the whip. And it's Claudia Hobdy moves up good. Sidestep by Tucker. Hobdy eliminated from the jam. Bombers have the only jammer out moving. 34, Dolores Tucker. Hobdy put down by Joan Weston at the rear. It'll be Claudia Hobdy caught in a position where she's going to have to block for the Red Devils. Calvello will send her back. I always think that's a bad move, Nick, when you don't have a jammer out to send a jammer back to do the blocking.
Well, yeah, in some instances, though, your jamming skater has been blocking against the opposing jamming skater much longer than the blocker has, and sometimes it does make a little bit of sense. Coming out of the pack is a new girl that Ryan.
Tucker now making a bid for that score, coming around the outside. Hobdy slips, coming out of the turn. Tucker moves to Calvello. She scored 1. Calvello pounding the blocks, and Weston yelling to the officials out there. Calvello raises her hands to show that she's not holding. Elbow block, Tucker put down, and I saw a skate jump in there. I saw a skate come in there. The official ruling, there was 1 Bay Bomber point scored by Dolores Tucker. Nick, I think we're going to get a chance to look at this again. You can pick up the play-by-play action when we do see it.
It was a good play on Dolores' part. Here's Dolores getting worked over by Calvello. Now up here on the rail, Hobby's getting ready to throw a block at her, and she just stops it. I think Hobby picked up a penalty on that play.
Well, there was 1 Bay Bomber point. That increases their score, but they still trail by 2. Red Devils 27, Bay Bombers 25.
And he's throwing hard blocks in there. They don't appear to be hard, but she's throwing a lot of weight with them. You know, rather than just throwing the arm back, she uses her entire body. That's what happened just there when she did take Dolores down. She went down with her. She's a very deceptive skater, Ann.
2 minutes, 45 seconds left to go here in the 5th skating period. Back being reorganized. Pivot skaters move to the front, blockers in the middle, and the jammers at the rear. If you're watching in black and white, if you watch the Red Devil jerseys, they have the stripes all the way down the arm, and the Bombers have the stripes going around the arm. And the Red Devils number series runs in the 20s, and the Bay Bombers runs in the 30s. The jam has started. Jam is going out, starting to play, and now the pivot skaters come out. It's Calvello and Weston. Calvello moves out of the way, lets Weston move up, does not take the block, and now moves up. Forearm block thrown in, another one thrown back. Weston dumped out of the Bay Bomber turn. And Calvello, and Teresa Calvello. I don't know why she doesn't like her nickname, so that's nice to me. Calvello moving on the rear of the pack. And it's going to be Joan Weston back to do the defensive work. Calvello whistling up into the back, trying to set up the skaters, and Bombers trying to get a jammer out. Joan Weston up in the front. Red Devils have been dumped. Calvello looking around in amazement. Sees movement, cuts the jam off. Cuts the jam off. No score on the play.
That was a good play with the Bombers. They just set themselves up real well, jumped the inside of the track, got rid of all the Red Devils knocking them high. They just took off. The Calvello was standing there. All she could see was red shirts in front of her. There was nothing else.
There was a shot of...
She was skating around. Her face is as red as her jersey right now.
But Nick, for the fans that are watching in color, I didn't get a chance to say that. The Red Devils, of course, in the red jerseys, the Bay Bombers in their familiar brown and orange. I want to remind all the fans along the network, Bombers are getting ready for their first national road tour in over 5 years, and that's going to be something. They're going to be coming into your town. I know, again, myself, I'm looking forward to go to places like Springfield, Massachusetts, New York City, Pittsburgh, Memphis, Tennessee, Chicago, Indiana.
Oh, I hope we get to my hometown. I see my mama in New York.
In New York. Back is formed. There are only 43 seconds remaining here in the fifth skating period. Red Devils on top by 2, 27-25, but the Bombers get the first jammer out. It's Hobney coming out after Dolores Tucker. And she's again caught off guard by Tucker. Elbow block, staggered back, fighting, long way. Oh, put down with a high elbow block as well. Tremendous crowd support for the Bay Bombers. Bombers down by 2, but the crowd stays right with them. Bombers have the only jammer out, moving 34, Dolores Tucker. She's on your screen right now. It'll be Ann Calvello back on defense, women's captain of the Red Devils. Elbow block to the outside. Tucker stopped from scoring. Calvello set at the rear. Tucker backs off, looking to make that move. Makes a bit to the Weston, back of the block, takes out 2 of the Red Devils. Tucker still going around the outside, but time has run out. Time has run out on the jam. There were 2 Bay Bomber points scored by Dolores Tucker. So the score at the end of the fifth skating period is tied. Red Devils 27 and the Bay Bombers 27. Don Drury, Nick Scope is back calling the action. We're joining them in now in the start of the sixth skating period. Second half of this game coming your way from Kezar Pavilion. Tremendous crowd out here again in support of the Bay Bombers. Score tie, 27-27. O'Connell is in the lineup, Nick. As we pointed out in the first half, he's been shaken up throughout the Chief Series, and the Red Devils are taking no mercy on him at all. Jammer's out and moving on the play. Jammer is moving for the Red Devils is 23. That is Mike Phillips. 37, Tony Roman on the play for the Bay Bombers. Roman comes up inside. Easy shoulder block. Takes the lead. Just brushes off him and gives himself a little bit of speed. Pulls away from Phillips. Phillips now trying to dig in. He's going to have to work a little bit harder to stay with Roman. Phillips comes down the straightaway. An elbow block. Roman check tie. Roman gracefully moving right back up on this jammer. It'll be Gil Orozco back to do the blocking for the Bay Bombers in the rear. He picks off Phillips. Sends him up along the rail. Roman trying to score. Trying to move up around. I believe that is
Tony Smith.
Tony Smith. Smith coming back with the blocks now. Another elbow block. Roman spun off the rail. Jammer trying to fight his way through. Phillips again hit high. Shoulder block back by Roman. Or back into Roman rather by Tony Smith. Roman inside. Roman fighting Smith way out of position. Just opened up the door. Just coasted right through. 1 Bay Bomber point.
I think we're going to have a replay on this, Don. It should be coming up in a second now. If you watch towards the end of the replay, Roman gets up on top here, and Tony Smith goes up to throw a block at him. Now Roman is going to drop way down low on the track. Tony Smith is going to try to get through everybody. Oh, I'm a lap ahead of myself. Here they come. Now Tony is up high. Now the other blocker is going to come through the inside. Tony Smith is going to lose Tony. Tony drops through the inside, never gets touched, picks up a quick single. Orozco keeping the Red Devil back. 1 point for the Bombers.
Yeah, I think what happened there is when Mike Phillips came up, he got right in the line of vision of Tony Roman. Jammer's out, number 35. Mike Gammon on the move. Starts that play for the Bay Bombers. Red Devils, a fast-moving Larry Lee in pursuit. There's Gammon, 35. He's got the lead. Looks back over his shoulder. He sees Lee coming. Look at this Lee move up after Gammon. 1-1 in a move, and they are barreling down that turn. Jump at Gammon low. Tremendous block up. Here comes Hessen. Hessen moves up. Jump block by Gammon. Hessen put over the rail. Gammon now the lead potential score. He moves up on Cal Stevens. Stevens trying to stay with Gammon. Spins him into the rail. Blasting back. Gammon again moving up into scoring position. Tries the inside. Hit back out quickly. He recovered. Grohl moving up. He's got a pivot helmet on. He can also score. Grohl put down. Gammon dropping back now as the offensive jammers for the Red Devils move in. They're both put into the rail. It's Grohl and Gammon. Stevens back on the fence in the rear. He's going to have his work cut out. Grohl coming over the block. Doesn't take. Gammon looking for the right over. They both go into the rail. Gammon inside. The official decision, there were a total of 3 Bay Bomber points. 1 by Grohl and 2. Tony Smith and Bill Grohl. Tony Smith and Bill Grohl. They're facing off. They both went over the rail. We'll go back and look at this again.
Here they come flying up here. Gammon in there getting blocked out. Grohl came in, got knocked down by Tony Smith. Mike and Grohl both put both Red Devil jammers up over the top. Now Gammon's going to jump on the outside. Grohl's going to go through inside, pick up one. Gammon's going to sneak through and pick up another one. And now Tony Smith and Bill Grohl both went over the rail. And I think they both accused each other of holding the other. And almost got into a little hassle down there, but cooler heads prevailed, and they're all on the track, and no penalties.
But there were 3 Bay Bomber points.
Yeah, score is 31-27 with the Bombers in the lead.
7 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in the 6th skating period. This action coming your way from Kezar Pavilion. I'm Don Drury, along with me, Nick Scobas. We're doing your play-by-play action. We want to remind all the fans, especially in the Bay Area. Oh, good elbow block up by Grohl at the front of that track. We want to remind the fans, though, when we get the next opportunity of a big reunion coming up in the Bay Area for all of the old-time skaters. Jammer's coming out. It's Earl Pearson. He's staggered back, hangs on, but Rowe comes up to meet him. Good rookie moving out there. That's Pearson. Goes after Rowe. Driving, coming up out of that turn, back to the inside. Oh, and Rowe put down. Roman on a late chase, but Pearson is already moving to scoring position. Cal Stevens back to lead the way. They move to Bill Grohl. Grohl driven into the rail. Off the track by Stevens, still going. Pearson checked by O'Connell. Bounces back up. The jam called off. And the official decision, I believe there were 2 Red Devil points scored on the play. 2 Red Devil points picked up by the rookie, the assist of Cal Stevens.
Earl Pearson looked real good on that jam, Don.
And the score now, Bombers 31, Red Devils 29, and a timeout being called on the track. Don Drury, Nick Scobas back calling the action. 6th period action here from Kezar Pavilion. Mike Gammon starts the jam. Tony Smith coming out with a pivot helmet on for the Red Devils. He comes up after Gammon. Good shoulder block. You can see the power of and it's Bill Grohl now coming out after Tony Smith. Grohl coming up. Both pivot skaters out. They were in confrontation earlier. Grohl moves to the inside. An elbow block. Hits into Tony Smith. Smith staggered back. Leg block back by Grohl. Smith put down. Good solid block in there by Grohl. Red Devils now without a jammer out moving on the play. The only potential scorer is number 38, Bill Grohl. He's moving into scoring position in the rear. And it will be men's captain, number 27, 235-pound Cal Stevens on defense in the rear. Grohl driven back as he tries to score to the outside. Tony Smith dropping back on defense now. Another big man, about 220 pounds. Roscoe drops back as the Red Devil jammer moves up. And Grohl is the lead potential scorer. Skater put down. Roscoe looking to assist. Grohl is the one up there. The pivot skater, number 38, Bill Grohl, takes a whip to the outside. Taken down by Smith. Back up, Grohl, and a leg block.
No
but
score.
Time runs out. No score. And I don't know if it was a penalty or a warning. And O'Connell is over there protesting. Apparently it was a penalty on Bill Grohl, illegal blocking.
I think they're saying that he got it with his foot. Billy's arguing his car's there, but I don't think he's going to do anything with it. We can see it from where we're at. It looked like he threw a good legal knee block from the outside, and evidently from the inside. From Morrissey's view, it must have looked like he caught him with his foot.
There's Tony Smith. He's shaking up. He's taking the rest. He's going down in the infield, talking things over with Cal Stevens. Those are 2 big men out there. They're certainly wearing on the Bay Bombers, and Grohl did pick up a penalty, illegal blocking. So the Bombers will be short-handed. 4 minutes left to go here in the 6th skating period. O'Connell goes to the pivot helmet. It's the first time we've seen him with that pivot helmet on here in this game. 31-29. Bombers have the advantage on the scoreboard. They lead by 2. Back reorganized, and you can hear the fans in the background getting behind the Bay Bombers. They're at a disadvantage right now, though. Back reorganized. Whistle sounding. Jammers make their way up. And skater coming up and down. Slipping going down is Mike Phillips. He takes out his own teammate. Bombers trying to get that first jammer out. Mike Gammon making a bid. He's going up. Apparently the jam was started, though, Nick.
Yeah, they did break the front.
Now Gammon moves up. No, Gammon moves up, slips in a turn. Roman slipping in a turn. Apparently there's something down in that turn that has caused both of these men to slip. Tony Smith is the lead potential scorer. He has the pivot helmet on. Pearson is also now in the jam. Smith comes in with a block. Gammon Gammon hit back on the play. Smith with the lead. They've got O'Connell pinned up in there in the rail. There's O'Connell. A jam called off, and Stevens and Chump going after O'Connell. The play is over. I believe there was one Red Devil point scored as they did take O'Connell into that rail. O'Connell double teamed by Stevens and by
Joe Chump.
Joe Chump. One Red Devil point was scored. Bomber lead cut to 31-30, and I think we're going to see this again.
Here's
Gammon and Tony Smith down moving on the play. And here's where Smith starts to break away. You can see O'Connell pinned up there by 2 men. Smith went through, cut it off. He knew he had Gammon right behind him. They picked up 1 point. That cuts the lead down. We're back with the live action now. Again, remind you, this game is pre-recorded. You're watching it on the Special Bay Bomber Syndicated Network. Almost couldn't get that out.
But you're right. Joe Chump's got this team working really well. He's got these big guys jamming. He's got the small guys jamming. He's got Larry Lee going like crazy, and this kid Earl Pearson is skating very well. You got Larry Lee on a jam now, and Chris Rowe chasing him.
1-1 on the play. Larry Lee is the lead potential scorer out and moving. Bill Grohl back to do the blocking. Smith trying to move Grohl out of the way. Good blocking going on at the rear of that pack. Smith going after Grohl. Here comes the jammer. Lee going by for 1. He has not cut it off. There's a bomber jammer moving up. They're working on another bomber up in the pack. That's Gammon. He's been dumped. And the official decision, there were 2 Red Devil points scored on the play. Larry Lee, the assist coming up there from Cal Stevens and Tony Smith.
Well, that's two good assist men right there, man. You can almost go through untouched. But Larry Lee was really heads up on that. He saw he had some more time with the bomber jammer chasing him. He pointed ahead for Cal Stevens. Cal went on in. They snapped up another bomber and picked up an extra point.
And they've now taken the lead by 1, 32-31 over the Bay Bombers here in the 6th skating period. 55 seconds remaining in the period. Bombers trying to reorganize that pack. They now trail by 1. Smith gets a warning. It was not on the jam. He must drop into the pack. Packing form. Jammer out. 35, Mike Gammon on the move, and 37, Tony Roman also on the move. Bombers, a double scoring threat out. They've got 2 of the best going right now. They've got their top jammers, Gammon and Roman. It'll be Cal Stevens back to do the blocking. He's got his work cut out. Double duty blocking. Gammon makes the first approach. He moves to the outside. Belted back by Stevens. Roman cut off on the inside. He's put down. Gammon was also dumped. Gammon scrambling right back up. 235-pound defensive blocker. Cal Stevens, very agile. Back and forth. Comes in with another key block. Again, dumping both of those jammers. Gammon put down. Roman put down. Gammon making another attempt. Gammon hit into the rail. Roman coming up. Bill Grohl coming up with a pivot helmet on inside. Grohl completely lapped that field. Nobody saw him even coming up. Went through on the inside, picked up 4 Bay Bomber points. So the score at the end of the, Grohl and Smith swinging out there. Grohl and Smith swinging. And, Grohl caught with a good one. And that will be the end of the 6th skating period. There will be penalties, but the score at the end of the 6th period, the Bay Bombers 35, the Red Devils 32. We'll be back with the 7th period after these commercial words. Don Drury, Nick Scobitz back calling the action. We're going into the 7th skating period here at Kezar Pavilion. And we're going to take a look at that last action right there. Nick, why don't you pick it up?
Here's Gammon and Roman getting blocked out. Now, Bill Grohl is broken from the front real late. Gammon and Roman both still getting blocked out. Nobody sees Grohl coming up. He should be coming into the picture real quick now. He's going to go by like a shot right through the inside. He picks up 4 points. Nobody touched him. Nobody saw him. Super play on Billy Grohl.
All right, we're back with the women now. This is the live action going on. Again, we remind you this game is pre-recorded. Ann Calvello blocking Peanuts Meyer and Judy McGuire at the other back. Here comes the Red Devil jammer. Thor's Holmes inside. She scores, calls it off. And the official ruling, there was a 1-minute penalty holding Ann Calvello. No score.
That's a good call by the officials. The girls sometimes have a tendency to, not just the girls, but the guys do too. They get so carried away with their block and they want to keep everybody next to them while they're hitting them. And they'll tend to reach out and either grab them with their hand or just bend their hand around somebody's shoulder or arm and just hang them in there. And it's a penalty, and the referees are catching it, and they're calling it now.
They're right on top of all of the action. Tremendous crowd here. There you can see the score. Bombers lead by 3, 35-32 over the Red Devils. We're in the 7th skating period. The exciting Bay Bomber action coming your way from Kezar Pavilion. I'm Don Drury, along with me, Nick Skopas. Tremendous crowd out here again at Kezar Pavilion, and I think that's what the Bombers can expect all the way along a national road tour, all over again. Nick, it's been 5 years since anybody's had the opportunity to see this great club.
Well, and it is great. It's probably one of the best that the Bombers have had in several years, and it's going to be great if the people can get out there and see this team in action and the team that they're skating against.
Jammers out moving. 24, Jerry Abatello. She's out number 2 to 1. Placed her hands on her hips, and a jam called off. Heads up play by Jerry Abatello. She's a veteran, been around for many, many seasons. Married, of course, to the coach of this team, Joe Chump.
That's probably why she's so smart, you know.
I hear tell at home it's the other way around.
No, that was a good play by Jerry. There was a little late whistle there. Everybody thought that she hadn't cut it off, but in fact she did, and the referee was fumbling around trying to get the whistle in his mouth.
I think the league may be seeing something else. Rumor has it, I don't know this to be a fact, but rumor has it that one of Joe's younger sons is going to be joining one of the teams.
Well, I know he's got, his family's been in the business for a long time, you know, so I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Jammers out, moving on the play. Number 36, Sue Braguglia for the Bay Bombers. And it is number 25, Jackie Garillo for the Red Devils. Secondary Jammers also up there, Jerry Abatello, 24, and 34, Dolores Tucker. All 4 Jammers out, moving on the play. Abatello with the lead now. Abatello with a good lead, and it is number 25, Garillo trying to catch back up, close to the inside, block to Tucker. Jammers coming out of the Red Devil turn, down the straightaway and into the Bomber team. Braguglia takes the lead, calls it off, and there's a couple of words coming back and forth between Abatello, skater taken down on the play. I didn't see the skater go down, even on the screen. And Cabello is down in the turn. Was there any score on that?
There was no score. It was a quick cutoff. Sue Braguglia was in the lead of the jam. Weston went up, started blocking on Calvello. He hit so hard they both went down. And Sue, trying to pick up a real quick point if she could, had to cut it very, very fast, and she was just even with both fallen skaters. There was no score.
There's a shot of Ann Teresa Calvello, women's captain of the Brooklyn Red Devils, and she used to have the title of being the George Blanda of skating. One of the oldest athletes out, of course, George Blanda from the Oakland Raiders was one of the oldest active national football players. Ann Calvello at age, what, 48?
Yeah.
848 was holding that title skating, but has been now surpassed by Jerry Murray, who has decided to come out of retirement, 56 years old.
I wouldn't want to skate against either one of them right now, let me tell you.
Jammers up, band out. This play underway. Number 21 is Dolores Holmes, moving for the Red Devils, for the Bay Bombers. 35, Judy McGuire in pursuit. McGuire comes up, a block to the rookie, puts her to the Masonite. Now the Bay Bombers, now the only potential scorer out, moving on the play. Number 35, Judy McGuire. All 5 of the Red Devils kept in. It'll be Ann Calvello on defense at the rear. McGuire moving up. Calvello set and waiting. Elbow block to the outside. McGuire stopped from scoring. Moves up again. Another elbow block thrown back there. Shoulder block back by Calvello. Weston looking to assist that jammer through, but Calvello keeping an eye on Weston as well as McGuire. Again, McGuire makes another bid. There's a Red Devil, or no, there's a Bomber. Carol Phoenix-Meyer dropping back on the assist. Now Meyer has dropped behind. She cannot score. The only one that can score is 35, McGuire. Here's Meyer trying to get through. McGuire walks to the inside. I think they thought they still had Judy McGuire tied up there as Weston spun around, and it was McGuire who dropped loose and came by on the inside. There were 2 Bay Bomber points scored on the last play.
Here's the replay. Here's McGuire coming at the rear now. You got a double block back there with Calvello. Now here's Meyer. They both switch places right here. Weston got a hold of Meyer. Judy just tiptoes through the inside, picks up a deuce and cuts it off.
And a timeout being called on the track with the Bay Bombers leading by 5, 37-32. We're back with the action here in the 7th skating period, final period for the women in today's game from Kezar Pavilion. The Brooklyn Red Devils trail by 5 underneath the Bay Bombers, 37-32. I'm Don Drury, along with me, Nick Skopas. The jam is in progress. And the jammer out moving is Jackie Garillo. 34, Dolores Tucker out for the Bay Bombers in pursuit. 1-1 on the play. Garillo with the lead. Tucker moves to the inside. An elbow block. Comes up, takes the lead on that jam. Here comes Garillo back to the inside. Regains that lead. It'll be Calvello and Weston back on defense for the respective clubs. Jammers move to the outside. Garillo belted back by Joan Weston. Again, up along that rail. Tries to get through. Calvello has eliminated the bomber. Jammer comes in with a high block. Sends Weston up along the rail. Skater is being taken high. Garillo moving through for Red Devil points. Tries to get by Bauer. Finally calls it off. And the official decision, there were 3 Red Devil points scored by Jackie Garillo. Tremendous Red Devil assist on that play. And that, of course, closes the gap. The Red Devils now trail by only 2. 37-35. Bay Bombers on top. Nick, as we were going out there just before the commercial breaks, I noticed that people were probably wondering why we were laughing. It wasn't that McGuire ran through on the inside, but our technical director started laughing as he said, "We're going to have a replay."
Well, the boys in the truck like to have a good time, too. They like to watch the game.
4 minutes, 14 seconds left to go here in the 7th skating period. Action all the way around. Just tremendous ability by both of these clubs, and the fans, of course, enjoy it week after week after week out here in San Francisco, and as they do across the nation. Probably the most popular club in the history of roller skating, the Bay Bombers.
I have to agree with you there, even though I was on another one.
Jammer on moving. Again, it's Jackie Garillo on the move for the Red Devils. This time it is Peanuts Meyer for the Bay Bombers. Meyer hit back by Garillo. Stays in pursuit, however. 1-1, and they're going to work on Weston at the red of back. Calvello working on Johnny Weston. Here comes Garillo. Inside. Calls it off. The official decision, Garillo cut that jam off too soon. No score. And a very unhappy Ann Calvello.
Boy, she's hot. And Garillo's hot. Boy, they're both mad. Garillo seen that opportunity for a point, when running in there, was so anxious she just cut it off too soon.
And apparently Garillo was worried about that bomber jammer, Carol Peanuts Meyer, moving up behind her. Just didn't hang on long enough.
Boy, Annie keeps yelling like this, her new hairdo's gonna go straight.
3 minutes left to go here in the 7th skating period. Bay Bombers continue to lead by 2 points, 37-35. Tremendous attendance here again for the Bay Bombers. San Francisco's Kezar Pavilion, the heart of Golden Gate Park. I'm Don Drury, along with me, Nick Scopus. We're calling it play-by-play action. Red Devils against the Bay Bombers, and it has been a rough game, especially in the men's field, Nick.
Yes, indeed.
Jammers.
The girls have been going at it tooth and nail, too. They've been hitting hard, working hard, skating hard. Both the men's field and the girls' field has just been going bongos out there.
Jammers moving out. And it is Jerry Abatello who got by 34. Dolores Tucker was also out on that jam with her. Now all 5 of the Bay Bombers have been kept in the back, and the Red Devils have the only scoring opportunity and threat out on the play, Jerry Abatello. It'll be Joan Weston back into the blocking for the Bay Bombers at the rear. Here comes Abatello. You notice her push that helmet forward there. A little bit of cockiness being shown towards Joan Weston, and Weston forms a double block with Judy McGuire at the rear. Abatello tries in the middle, hit back, slowed down, stopped from scoring. Moves forward again, and again she's hit back. Red Devils and Calvello and Lana Kasanovic up in front trying to pull Abatello through. Weston and McGuire still holding back with that double block, and now they move from side to side, getting out of the way. Abatello falling down, and Calvello and Kasanovic hanging on to her, dropped right with her. No score on the play, no score. I think Weston and McGuire's weight were holding those skaters forward, as well as Abatello trying to be pulled forward there, Nick. And when they moved,
they had Abatello squeezed in there, and Kasanovic and Calvello were pulling all 3 of them at the same time. And what they did was they kind of forced Abatello to fall forward a little bit. Then they got out of the way. Abatello went on her face. Calvello and Kasanovic kept pulling Abatello, and she had nowhere to go. They just dragged her halfway down the track.
37-35. Bay Bombers remain on top by 2 points. Here in the 7th skating period, only 55 seconds remaining. This is the final action for the women in this game. Then, of course, the men come onto the track for the 8th and final period. Stay with us for all of this exciting action from Kezar Pavilion. Back being reorganized, whistle sounding, jammers coming up, trying to work their way up and out of the pack. The jam has been started, and it's Ann Calvello going after the Red Devils, now off a whip. Joan Weston for the Bay Bombers. Look at this Weston move after Calvello. Calvello, easy, graceful strides. Weston trying to take the lead on the jam, coming up out of the turn. Side by side, 2 women's captains and pivot skaters on the move. Weston to the inside, Calvello to the outside. You can see the speed as they mixed up. Both skaters going around. Weston able to block. Calvello has been dumped, and Weston continues to move. Only 10 seconds left to go in the period of the jam. Look at Weston sprint out. Bombers trying to lock up the back. It's a race against time. Calvello back. Weston, good block from the outside. It's over. It's over. We'll be waiting for an official ruling on this one. The official decision, there were 4 Red Devil points scored by Ann Calvello. She was on the same lap with Joan Weston. Then Weston continued on after dumping Calvello and came around, scored over her. There were a total of 5 Bay Bomber points scored. So the score at the end of the 7th skating period, the Bay Bombers 42, the Red Devils 39. Don Drury, Nick Scope is back calling the action. We're in the 8th and final period of this game from Kezar Pavilion between the Bay Bombers and the Red Devils. The score, the Bay Bombers 42, the Red Devils 39. Jammers out moving on the play. Red Devil Jammers flying out. Earl Pearson on the move for the Red Devils 37. Tony Roman coming out for the Bay Bombers. 1-1 on the move. Pearson sets a fast pace. Roman stays right with him. Roman, a veteran, he knows how to move around the track. Pearson catching Roman, puts him down. It's Cal Stevens back to lead away. Bill Grohl back on the fence. Here comes the jammer moving up, and Grohl being hit back there. Put over the rail. Stevens still going. Pearson moving up, trying to go to the outside. Moves to O'Connell, belted back again. More skaters being worked on. A jam called off. The official decision, there were 3 Red Devil points scored by the rookie, Earl Pearson, the assist of Cal Stevens up there.
We have this on a replay, Don. Here comes Pearson with Roman now. I think coming out of the next turn, Pearson's going to put a good move on Roman from the outside. He nails him with an inside block. He keeps on coming. Now, I don't know if they can pick up Cal Stevens, but he's making a big move on that pack. Drives Bill Grohl forward. They start to take Pearson through. Now, this Pearson does a lot of good skating on his own in there. He picks up 2 or 3 points. 3 points it was in a fine play all the way around for the Red Devils.
We're back with the live action. Again, we remind you, this game has been pre-recorded. Score tied, 42-42. 9 minutes, 42 seconds left to go in the game. And again, the Red Devils break that jammer out on top. It is number 25, Ed Hessen, moving for the Red Devils. 32, Chris Rowe out moving for the Bay Bombers. Elbow block, thrown back by Rowe. Takes the lead on the jam. Hessen coming back. Forearm, cross-arm blocks being thrown back in a row. Hits him high, drives him into the rail. And it's Tony Smith going to work on Bill Grohl at the rear of that pack as the jammer comes up. Grohl being pounded back there, dumped by Smith. You can see him down on the track. They go to work on the next skater. I believe that to be Gilles Roscoe. O'Connell hit high by Stevens. Hessen inside, calls it off. Big play for the Red Devils. They score 4 points on the jam. 25, Hessen, the assist of Stevens and Smith.
Well, that's a great 1-2 punch they got with Stevens and Smith. When those 2 guys start cooking together, boy, they can take anybody through there.
46-42.
It looked like they were just knocking matchsticks out of the way, and even with Charlie out there, if they moved Charlie out of the way, Hessen went right on through.
2 big men, an awful lot of weight in between those, and Stevens is very agile.
Well, the thing is that they can both skate so well. You know, sometimes you find a big guy out there that's not agile. All he can do is skate a straight line. But now you got 2 guys that can maneuver on a track. They're both strong. They can jam. Boy, he looks mean just sitting there. Look at this Cal Stevens. No wonder he used to scare me.
Tremendous crowd again here at Kezar Pavilion. There's a shot of the audience here this afternoon in attendance of this game. We're back with the action again. The Red Devils have broken the tie. They lead by 4, 46-42 over the Bay Bombers. 8 minutes, 5 seconds left to go in the game. Jammers up and out. Bombers get the first jammer out. Earl Pearson reaching back as a whip, and it's Cal Stevens coming out after Roman. Good, solid elbow block to the inside. Roman put down. Just an awesome skater. Big and fast. Cal Stevens, the pivot skater, now moving out all by himself. And Bill Grohl dropping back to do the blocking at the rear of the pack for the Bay Bombers. All 5 of the Bombers being kept in. Stevens the only one that can score right now. 27, Cal Stevens looking for the right opportunity. Grohl set at the rear, elbow block, and Grohl bouncing right off of Stevens. Roscoe dropping back, and he's driven forward as he attempts to move Stevens back. Grohl dropping back now. And they're calling up there. I don't know if it's for O'Connell. The Bombers are calling into a pull-away. They're not even going to try and challenge Stevens. Bombers into a pull-away. It's Tony Roman, Charlie O'Connell, Mike Gammon, Giller Roscoe, and Bill Grohl out moving. Stevens off a whip. Too much speed. Can't hang on. Goes down. No score on the play. No score. Time running out. And Nick, I think that was probably the best thing the Bombers could do. They didn't want to challenge him. He was just too big.
Oh, they were hitting him. They were bouncing off him. O'Connell seen him from the middle of the pack. He seen the way the pack was lined up, and he called for the pull-away, and off they went.
There's Galvin a little bit disappointed down there on the track after a strong whip. Just too much speed. Timeout being called on the track. With the score, the Red Devils 46, the Bay Bombers 42. Don Drury, Nick Scobis back calling the action. We're in the 8th and final period. 6 minutes left to go in this game. From Kezar Pavilion, the Bay Bombers at home playing against the Brooklyn Red Devils. Jammers out and moving. 32. Chris Rowe on the play for the Bay Bombers. For the Red Devils, it is number 25, Ed Hessen out moving on the jam. 1-1. Here comes Hessen inside. Missing the block. Over the rail, and Rowe moves on. Bombers now with a scoring threat. It's Chris Rowe. Bill Grohl back to lead the way for him. It'll be 26, Tony Smith. Back on defense for the Red Devils. Here comes Rowe, moves up, Grohl and Rowe, crisscrossing, back and forth, high and low. Smith trying to keep his eye on Rowe. Now he moves back to the inside. And it's Grohl moving up. Grohl inside, hit with a good block. Smith taken out. They continue to move on this jam. Lee comes in with a block, picks off Chris Rowe. Heads up play in there by Larry Lee. The jam called off. Jam called off on the play. But there was one Bay Bomber point scored by this man, number 32, Chris Rowe. I don't think he saw Lee.
No, he didn't. Lee came through the inside and nailed him. I think he's hurt his wrist, Don. He's got a bad hand anyway.
We're going to take a look at this again.
Okay, here comes Billy Grohl back on the assist. Now he's going to back off a little bit, and he throws a tremendous block here. He comes right off his feet when he hits Smith. Now Lee picks him up, drives Chris Rowe right up into the rail. Chris was trying to break his momentum, and I think he hurt his wrist.
46 to 43. The Red Devils continue to lead by 3 points, and you can hear this tremendous crowd here at Kezar Pavilion. Getting behind the Bay Bombers. There's a whip. The jammer is out. It's number 35, Mike Gammon on the move. Red Devils get to get a jammer out. Gammon is flying. Grohl dropping back. Smith back on defense. Gammon coming into scoring position at the rear. Mike Phillips on a late chase, but he's a long ways back. There's Grohl calling the signal up to Gammon. Gammon will make the first move. Here comes the Red Devil jammer up as well. Gammon yet to make that move. Now comes into Smith, hit back, and Red Devil jammer put over the rail. Grohl backs off. Grohl will be up there to lead the way. He was successful on the last play over Tony Smith. No move as yet. Now he reaches back, comes up with a whip. Gammon slides low and underneath. He's back up, still going. Gammon still going. Off the whip by O'Connell. Back to the inside. Smith goes back up there, but he's already been scored. Roman takes the skater high. Gammon bounced into the rail. And time in the jam running out. Tremendous effort. 3 Bay Bomber points scored by Mike Gammon. Tremendous effort out there and helped by Roman. I think we're going to see this one again, Nick.
Yeah, we got on a replay. Here comes the whip. He slides right underneath Tony Smith. Gets up, sidesteps Larry Lee. Great sidestep. Now Charlie gives him a whip around the outside. Another super sidestep in there to get away from another blocker. Gets through Tony Smith there. He was just lacking 2 men of picking it up. But fine effort, fine skating on the part of Mike Gammon and the rest of the Bomber team. Super assist play by Bill Grohl.
The score is tied, 46 to 46. There's a tired Mike Gammon, number 35. He's picked up the 3 points to tie the score. 2 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in the game. And the fans coming alive here at Kezar Pavilion as the Bombers fight their way back up. Back is form, whistle sound, it's Bombers again. Tony Roman breaking out. Roman out, moving on to jam. 21. Larry Lee coming out for the Red Devils. 1-1 on the play. Lee moves up to the inside, an elbow block to Tony Roman, takes the lead on that jam. Roman stays right in stride. Both men pacing themselves to the rear. Lee maintains the lead, and I think Tony's letting Lee break a little bit of wind, knowing no, he moves to the inside, takes the lead on that jam. Lee coming back up. It'll be Bill Grohl and Cal Stevens back to do the blocking. Roman really has a tough job here trying to beat out Cal Stevens. Here comes Roman moving to the outside. Hit back. Roll setting up Larry Lee. There's a leg block back by Stevens to Tony Roman. Good blocking going on back and forth. Roll comes up in the block. Stops again. Larry Lee from scoring. Elbow block by Stevens. Dumps Tony Roman. Jammers trying to find their way through. Again, Lee comes up. Again, stopped by Grohl. About 3 seconds left to go in the jam. Nobody's gotten by. Stevens coming back. Grohl gets out of the way. And Stevens takes out his own man. No score on the play. No score. I think Tony Roman on that last play coasted behind Larry Lee, letting him break the wind so he could get a little bit more of the track movement for him and get a little bit of a rest. It's a good move, I think, Nick.
Oh, yeah. You just get right in behind that bigger skater up in front of you, and he'll just keep you going right behind him. It's just like drafting and auto racing. You just drop in behind him. You don't have to work as hard to keep up. We got a minute to go in this game, Don. The score is 46-46. They're getting the pack together. Anybody's game. Both teams have been very strong throughout the entire game. But Billy Grohl's kind of come to life in this last period on all of his assist plays.
Less than a minute to go. The jam starts. It will run the full 60 seconds. It's Dynamite Mike Gammon on the move for the Bay Bombers. Also out is 32 Chris Rowe. Earl Pearson, the rookie, moving for the Red Devils. Bombers have the advantage, but it's Cal Stevens dropping back on defense at the rear. Chump there also as a backup. Pearson taken down. Here comes Rowe. Gammon belted back by number 27 Cal Stevens. Rowe makes a bid to the outside. Hit by Stevens, driven into the rail. The rookie Pearson moves up. He's stopped by Gammon. Rowe is the one trying to score. Forearm block. And Stevens drives him into the rail. Gammon making another bid now. Here comes Gammon coming up fast on that turn. Trying to make a bid. Makes a move to the outside. Rowe goes behind the inside. A jam called.
No helmet. No helmet on Rowe.
No helmet on. Jam, I believe, still going. With 10 seconds left to go, and there's confusion out there on the track. I don't know what they're going to do. Jam called off. The official decision on the play, there were a total of 3 Bay Bomber points scored on the play. 3 Bay Bomber points. The official ruling on that, Nick, was that Rowe had lost his helmet, could not score, but Gammon did continue on that jam, and number 35 picked up 3 points. So the final score here at Kezar Pavilion, the Bay Bombers 49, the Brooklyn Red Devils 46. We'll be back with an interview directly following these commercial words. Hello, I'm Don Drury here at Kezar Pavilion talking with Bay Bomber coach Charlie O'Connell. The final score 49-46. Charlie, your team really came back to take and pull this one out.
Yeah, it seemed, though, at the end there was a lot of confusion. I think that we really goofed them up there. We goofed in on a couple of their plays with Mike trying almost a false cutoff at one point of the game, and some of the guys stood up, so we just snuck right through the whole damn thing, and it works out real great for us. We feel sorry for them, you know, that's their tough.
That's a big team that you're going up against out there. Tony Smith, Cal Stevens really coming into his own.
Yeah, I said that before. I told you that they were gaining weight, and they're still gaining weight, and the shots that they're giving now are jarring people apart now. I think our boys are going to have to start putting on some more beef, all of us along the line, because it's starting to tear everybody down now.
Well, Charlie, I know you're tired. Tremendous job out here. Fans across the nation, of course, watching this game on a special syndication. And I want to thank you for stopping and talking with us. Again, from Kezar Pavilion, the final score, the Bay Bombers 49, the Red Devils 46. On behalf of the hosting Bay Bombers, the International Roller Skating League, I'm Don Drury. Thank you for joining us.